Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Pull Chapter 41, and this one is titled Rampage. Okay, keep an eye on it, Shoji, Jiro said as she plugged her ear jack back into the ground to listen. As you glanced out the window again, you saw someone approaching the building through the trees. Who is it? You thought, keeping out of sight. Slowly they approached through the shrubbery, and you noticed that they were being shown the way by birds. Ah, okay, so Coda's on reconnaissance. Clever. As the student stepped out from the tree line below, you saw it was the jet black hero, Tokoyami. I think I'll be okay to fight, Tokoyami. I've heard that Dark Shadow can become a little harder to handle in the dark, but it's not too dark in here, you thought, looking around, then revisiting your initial thought. Oh, okay, it's actually quite dark, but hopefully not too dark. You glanced out the window again and saw Tokoyami enter below, taking a few calming breaths to relax the tension in your shoulders as you listened to him talking to himself. Forge through the darkness and merge your soul with it. His footsteps could be heard as he headed down the hall. He's indeed a bit of an oddball, but he's a good kid, you thought with a smirk as he started to walk softly down the hall on the second floor as well. I really don't think there are any stairs here. They either weren't built yet or got pulled down. How's he going to get up? You listened again to hear where he was and heard him talk to himself about the lack of stairs. Well, that's a help. Now to see if I can somehow get out of here and away without him seeing me. Turning, you walked silently back the way you'd come, intending to jump from a window or something, but all of a sudden a loud noise stopped you. You spun around just in time to see a massive version of Dark Shadow burst up through the floor, its form filling the second level of the abandoned place as building debris flew everywhere. Terrified, you turned and ran, trying not to scream. Dark Shadow! You heard Tokoyami call loudly. Don't call out to me! The enraged shadow monster growled as it reached out and gripped a pillar in its black and purple swirling mass of a claw. The sound of concrete being pulverized soon followed, and you ducked into one of the concrete rooms. Oh crap, I'm gonna die! Your heart smashed heavily inside your ribcage. Looking around the enclosed room, you thought maybe it would be best to surrender before you were killed, so you ran for the door again and stood in front of Dark Shadow. I surrender! You yelled in a shaky voice, raising your hands above your head. Dark Shadow's glowing yellow eyes locked onto you, and he reached a claw out, narrowly missing your middle as he took a wide swing for you. Stop! You screamed. Stop, I surrender! Miss Lin, you heard Tokoyami yell from below. I can't control him! Your face drained of all colour and you turned to flee, but a concrete beam came crashing down in front of you, blocking your escape. Sir, Jiro shouted to Aizawa, ear jacks plugged into the earth. I can hear Miss Lin. She's surrendering, but it appears she's in trouble. There's movement in the building, Shoji confirmed. I think, yes, Dark Shadow has gone rogue. He's tearing the building apart. It only took Aizawa 0.01 second to act, and instantly he was gone. Sir? Jiro asked, looking back over her shoulder, intending to ask what she should do next, but he had disappeared. Stop! You hollered again, throwing your quirk-activated arms out to try and fight Dark Shadow at a distance. The shadow monster easily thwarted your attacks, and the minute that he had hit your arm away, he lunged at you with an open jaw. You went to shield yourself, having nowhere else to run, but something suddenly appeared in front of you, taking the force of Dark Shadow's hit instead of you. Get back, Aizawa yelled at you, fighting off Dark Shadow and keeping him occupied while you turned and tried to move some of the collapsed buildings so you could escape. Aizawa tried to erase or immobilize Dark Shadow, but being unable to see Tokoyami, there was nothing much that he could do at that point, so fighting and dodging was his only option. Looking around, you saw a wooden board up against the wall of the building and thought that maybe it had been a barricade to a window. Aizawa! You shouted. Here! He turned and looked to where you were pointing, immediately running over. Hold on, he demanded, grabbing onto you as he kicked the barricade in. It exploded outwards and a small amount of light flooded in, giving you the hope of escape. All of a sudden you were airborne and outside, clutching onto Aizawa as he threw his binding cloth to a nearby tree and used it to swing free of the building. It was dark outside now, twilight, and you got away cleanly before your rescuer set you down on the ground. You looked back at the building as Dark Shadow continued to rampage inside. Are you hurt? Aizawa asked, letting you go so he could look you over. No, just shaken, you replied, trembling all over as your teeth chattered together. Going into shock, he mumbled. I need to get you back to safety, then help Tokoyami. You nodded, allowing him to pick you up bridal style as you tucked your head into the crook of his neck. You're safe now. I won't let anything happen to you, he said lowly, running through the bush back towards the hot springs lodge. While this had been happening, Jiro had orchestrated a rescue plan for Tokoyami, getting Koda to alert the other class members via the birds and animals and getting them to come to the rescue. Bakugo was first on the scene and blasted a hole into the second level of the building, immediately challenging the shadow monster. Midoriya, Todoroki and Aoyama were the next to arrive, and Midoriya had Todoroki make an ice wall behind the building so that when Aoyama shone his naval laser through the blasted hole, it would refract that light back and cause the second floor to light up like a Christmas tree. By the time Aizawa dropped you off with Koda, Jiro and Shoji, the other students had it under control, but he left anyway to help them. While Aizawa had left, you passed out, your body being drained completely by the surge of adrenaline that you had experienced, and Shoji, being the sweetheart he is, had already wrapped you in his arms and was keeping you safe and warm until Aizawa returned. And there ends chapter 41. Stay tuned for chapter 42.